Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. And someone asked me, just entering, why are you famous to be here? I told him, not famous. Maybe I'm well known in a business community because it's 30 years that I work in innovation, in data, in mobility, and how we move on our road. So today I'm here to tell you some stories, and I hope also to help you to better understand this issue, this market, and also what Elon Musk is doing and why. But start from the beginning. In 1991, is some years ago, everything started from my final work in university. My final thesis was about self-driving cars. Self-driving cars, you have to imagine at the time, was only on the movie. Do you remember Total Recall, Schwarzenegger, Johnny Cab, 1990, the same age. So it was only on the movie. Today is reality. So, but to understand the present, to understand the future, we have to start from the past. In that year, I started to lead a company working on technology. You have to make a flashback. 30 years ago, no computers or few computers in our houses, few computers in our factories, but technology to solve this problem, to being stuck in the queue, to understand where the accident was. You have to really to make a flashback. No GPS. The GPS was only for military services. So to understand what was happening on the road, technology could help, but was very, very at an early stage. So that year was 10 years really focused on technology able to solve safety and security. We didn't talk about environment. We didn't talk about climate change, only to solve the problem for people on the road. But two milestones changed everything. Two milestones around the year 2000. Do you know which these two elements? The first one was GPS. The second one was the connectivity, the mobile phone. Few of you probably knows that one date is very important in GPS. The 1st of May of 2000. What happened at that day? That the US government decided to increase the quality of GPS from 500 meters of errors in one day by software. In that date, the GPS became precise. 20 meters, so like a dot like this one, the blue dot that you have on your phone. So what does it mean at that time? That the position of the car, the position of the person, the position of the public transport became valuable. The data became valuable. On the other hand, as I mentioned before, the connectivity started to enter in the market. The combination of these two technologies really modified the future, the past, the present, and the future of mobility. In the same days, in the same period, 50 million of personal navigation devices was sold in the market. Can you imagine how million of data made by 50 million of navigation devices was in server available for understanding what was happening on our road. So it was obvious that at that date, the big tech company, which I defined the lords of mobility in my book, understood the potentiality of the market and invested a lot of millions in that field. So understand how we move, how the car is moving, what we call the smart city, the smart road. So data coming from any devices in the car, outside the car, and how you use it. These two elements are really the basis how now we talk about the debate that we have in mobility. It's not only environment, it's not only sustainability, but it's a technological problem. These two milestones modify the way we consider our car. And in 2010, in Europe, we started to use an acronym that became famous because the car and the mobility was defined like this: connected, autonomous, shared, and electric. So it means that the electric part doesn't come from the sustainability field, but comes from the technological. In the middle of the battle between China and the US. So today, what we have in our road, what we use today, is like this model. Connectivity, I mentioned before, millions of data that can come from the car, from the smartphone in the car, if you use Spotify, if you use Maps. Most of you comes from US. Autonomous, for you, is a reality. Maybe in Europe, less, but in US is normal. Sharing is the same. Sharing is mobility for young people. And electric is simple, is a fascinating technology that simplifies the car. So there is nothing about climate change, about Paris Agreement, it's everything about a technological battle. And if we are able to understand that the evolution will be like this, our industry can try to afford this market using this lens. But also you, that in the paper every day there is an article about robotaxi, about how we change the way of choose your transport mode, is made by using this lens, the acronym C.A.S.E. So I leave you with one sentence that I use often to describe this word, because I don't like the term smart road, smart city, as I mentioned before. I like the word digital, because the mobility is digital, and I define like a silent revolution, but it can make a lot of noise. Thank you.